Daddy's back.
I'm right, he is. Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back for the first time this week in the Yard of Streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. Yeah, and you can't be doing that. You can't be talking wrestling in the Yard Streams without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara March. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Special shout out to Scott Hall. It is his 2-year anniversary of him passing away today. So make sure you guys watch either his documentary, which I have not watched, the A&E one. I haven't watched it yet.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, I have it recorded, but it was on kind of late for me, and I was like, free agency has just been, dominating
you've been swimming.
everything.
You've been swimming.
So so I haven't watched it yet, but maybe in honor of him, you can watch Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels ladder match, IC title. Probably
Sarah,
one of the best, or not.
And where did it happen?
WrestleMania.
There you go. So there's a way to prep yourself for WrestleMania, because we got a ladder match.
Yep.
Announced that we have to talk about because there was no Raw Rewind this week. The champ got knocked down. Sometimes Mother Nature hits you with the flu, and you just don't answer the 10 count. All right, that's just all it is. It's been a long week in that regard, but today finally felt better, and I was just
you sent it to me.
Somehow the champ sent it to you.
It's because we made out.
Yes, absolutely. Send that out.
Yeah,
that's exactly
we made out.
That's exactly what these confused peeps that tune in every week need. It's just more of that. We did, in fact, make out, tongue and all. So that's why Sara is also sick. 2,000 miles away, and I'm just getting better. Finally. And when you're laying around, like, you just get bored. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I was just watching. I'm like, I have no energy, but like, I mentally need to do something. So we got back. I went for a walk. We went for a walk, got some coffee, try to feel good, and then we're like, let's do it. Let's talk wrestling today, because there's not a lot of energy physically that needs to be done, but I need to talk about it because that's all I've been watching is wrestling to prepare. And I think it's a good thing we have a jam-packed show, because there's a lot to talk about. So you know what, Sarah, let's just kick it off. Let's hold on. Let's get some comments. Rainy Days, what's popping? I think you're new. If you're not, Lo Ciento. You're not new, David. What's popping? Bernard, what's popping? Article getting finished up. Good shit. Way to produce for the ranting stadiums. And Damon was popping. And Mr. I can't do it. Sorry, I can't. No, I have I have the minimal energy today, so it will not be as enthusiastic, but we will get it out. So let's just go right into the show. Let's go right into what we start every Thursday show.
Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
Don't be a lemon, Sara. Be a rosebud. We got to work on our English accent. Anywho, let's talk about our favorite and least favorite things going on in the wrestling world this week. And because I've been royal rambling over here, Sara, why don't you start things off for us?
So, because we didn't get to talk about Raw, I want to talk about Raw. And something that I very much enjoyed this week was Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch. And I think, when we knew that this match was going to happen, I didn't really see that many people excited about it necessarily. No one was really saying it was going to be a good match or if it was going to be a bad match or anything. So I don't know that there was really any expectations about how it would be, but I think they absolutely killed it, and they gave us almost like a pay-per-view quality match on Raw. And I love to see that for Liv specifically because I think Becky's put in those positions all the time. So it's not something that, if Becky's in a match, you're like, okay, yeah, it's going to be a good match because Becky's in it, whatever. But with Liv, she kind of has had like a weird past year. Basically, I would say even more so, it's been weird since she dropped the women's title after winning Money in the Bank. It was like it's just been very weird for her. And then of course she got injured multiple times and missed a lot of time. So I was really happy for her to have such a good match, and I think it had 2 or 3 commercial breaks, so they gave these girls
They got
time.
time. No, they got
And
time.
they both looked so good. Like I even rewatched it. Like that's how good I thought this match was, and it was really cool to hear the audience also be really into it. And they were chanting at one point, "This is awesome!" And I'm like, yeah. It was just brilliant. There was just like so many good things, like when Liv slid out of the ring before Becky could pin her, and then later in the match Becky did it, and it's like some of the stuff they were doing on the ring apron. I was like, queens. So I was happy that Liv was definitely taking advantage of the moment, because Becky didn't need it. Becky already has her match at Mania, whatever. And so Liv is still trying to find her place on the Mania card. And I'm like, she killed it. Like she put the doubters to shame in that match.
No, she did. Like that was one of my favorite Liv Morgan matches I've seen in quite some time. The springboard code breaker, it's showing that she's trying to expand her arsenal and do more cool things that really get the crowd out of their seat. To me, what this match did, it did two things. One, obviously with Liv, like it makes you want to see Liv on the Mania card. It makes you want, you know, it makes you want to see her on the Mania card in some capacity, and that's all you want if you're Liv Morgan. With two, it helps Becky because it's this road to mommy, it feels like, needs to be something that is not just kicking over jobber after jobber. It needs to be wrapping up loose ends before you get to the final boss. Like, you lost to Nia Jax, okay, nice and you ran in her match, and that caused Liv Morgan. So then Liv Morgan became an obstacle to Nia Jax, who's the actual obstacle. You got over that one. Now you're going to Nia Jax in a last woman standing match. Boom. That is the telltale sign for any wrestling fan, any, last woman man standing. She's going to end it there and we'll probably move on. Now she can really focus to mommy. And that is actually telling the story of Becky versus Rhea in its own way. That, mommy's always been there and like that's been the eye, but there's always been something getting in the way. And that's more of telling of their story, even with last year's horrendous way of doing Charlotte Rhea. This is even a step above that because you actually have Becky fighting for something, not just two people fighting because they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, we've kind of talked about the lack of development and story between Becky and Rhea, and how it is very reminiscent of what they did with Charlotte and Rhea last year. And they didn't really kick it into high gear until a week or two before Mania. That was when they had that brawl, and you were like, oh, okay, like this is more than just the champion facing the Royal Rumble winner. Like there's actually some depth here. I feel like with Becky, I kind of like that this is happening. It's kind of like what we talked about with Cody needing Cody's path to Roman, because we were saying think that he was going to win the Royal Rumble again, or even if we did, we said we didn't want him to, or at least I was saying that I wanted him to see him go through more
Better story.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of what they're doing with Rhea, with Becky, where it's like, yeah, she won the Royal Rumble, and or no, I'm sorry, she didn't win the Rumble, but I'm getting confused, sorry, but she gets to face Rhea and people feel like it was handed to her, is what I'm trying to say. And so I think that making the road to Rhea more difficult is going to please some of those fans that aren't exactly thrilled that Becky is the one that's facing Rhea, especially the ones who wanted it to be Liv or they wanted it to be someone else. At least this is like making it seem like she earned it more than just kind of like being thrown to Rhea because Bayley chose Io, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It seems like there's more of a story now, even with Becky kind of feuding with other people. It's still centered around Mommy because she needs to get to her. And it's just constant, like, this person's in my way, this person's in my way. So that adds the element to it where, like, last year, just like, yeah, they're facing each other. They're staring down. They're doing all that. Like, at this point, just fucking brawl.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm gonna go with my Rosebud being NXT. Okay, not AEW, because we have a comment about AEW. I'm gonna get to it because oh boy, howdy, do I have some comments about last night's Dynamite. But before Dynamite, there's always NXT on USA. Gotta talk about NXT because right now, Sarah, we're excited for nights 1 and 2 of Mania when we go. But I think the sneaky sleeper event of the weekend is going to be Stand and Deliver because of what they're setting up right now. The fact that I am hyped about the boss, the boss of NXT, I think it's called, or the Don, excuse me, the Don of NXT taking on Ilya Dragunov.
I'm not thrilled
And then
about
you
that,
have, I wouldn't be, but because it led to, which confirmed today, we'll talk about a little bit more, Carmelo Trick. It led to that. Okay. Now you have Roxanne and Lyra getting the true 1v1 that they deserved. No Lola Vice breakout interference. Now you add the Tatum Paxley element into it, and like Lyra steering into that and being like, all right, like you need a friend, I'll be your friend. So, and then you have Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin in an NXT as the NXT tag champs in a multi-tag match, which I've seen the teams in there. That could be banger after banger. Like it's just that in itself, it's leading up so well that like Saturday, I wasn't really excited for Stand and Deliver. I was like, all right, we'll do it. Then we got night 1, but now it's like, all right, Stand and Deliver is going to be a hell of a way to kick us right into gear for night 1. Like it's working out very well.
I was excited about Stand and Deliver just because I've never seen any of them perform in person before. So like I was excited about that. And usually like even if I'm not super invested in NXT or invested in a lot of people, obviously I have my favorites, that it's going to be a phenomenal show. Like if you're going for matches and great matches, you're going to get one out of NXT. So I am very excited to see Ilya. I'm very excited to see Trick versus Mello. Like I cannot wait to be a part of that crowd. Like I am so excited. So it's going exactly how we thought it was going to. So I think it's gonna be like a great appetizer to Mania, I mean, it's gonna be an exhausting weekend, but I'm excited.
Oh, get ready. Yeah, get ready. That just comes with the territory, but the exhaustion you don't even think about when you're having fun. No, there was not a Raw Rewind this week because I was sick. Sarah's now getting sick.
Yeah.
So we could not. Yeah.
That's
why we're packing in.
Yeah, we pushed it back and then it just wasn't. Yeah. So so we're gonna talk about parts of Raw, the best parts or the more controversial parts of Raw today as well.
Yeah, dude, Dickie gets it. Sandler will be very solid card this year. So many good championship matches. Only thing I can say negative is the star power will be weaker. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it depends on how you feel about Chase U. Like they're a big name star this year, and if you're not a Chase U fan, then okay.
Are we saying like compared to last year?
Yes.
But like who was like off the card this year that was that was like making like why is it not as good this year? Because I think Ilya is great, Trick and Mello, great. the women are killing it. I think people are loving Roxanne too. So, I mean, I think this is just what's going to happen every year anyway, because eventually these people are going to be called up to the main roster. So, it's just part of it.
Damn right
Yeah.
he needs a good.
Yeah.
Damn right he does. He low-key becoming one of my favorite dudes in NXT.
Yeah.
That dude hasn't. Talk about aura.
Yeah.
Dude, straight out of Wakanda.
Yeah.
Incredible. That dude is awesome.
We are going to talk about Mercedes, by the way.
Yeah,
for
because here's my
everybody.
lemon. All right, here it is. All right, we're
Okay.
talking about now because
Okay.
this was my.
Because I don't know what
This
yours
was
is.
no my lemon. This is it. Other than the fact that I was sick and couldn't go to AEW, so upset about that because I didn't get to see Okada. I
Yeah.
don't care about Mercedes Moné. Like I've
Well,
seen
also
Sasha Banks before.
Monet.
She said Moné.
That's weird because no one said that's like she's referencing money, then it would be money.
It's Mercedes Moné.
I'm not saying it that way because no one says Monet.
You say tomato, I say potato. That's
right,
how it goes.
whatever.
So I was really upset I didn't get to see him because I saw Bushi, I've seen Omega, didn't see Osprey either. Like I was really upset about that. But I didn't care at the end of the day. I was like, fine, you know what? Because after watching it, the Mercedes Moné thing, like, I'm happy she's there. I think she's going to do wonders for that women's division. But to me, I hate the CEO. I think it's absolutely awful. Like, it's so over. Like, you can tell it's forced. Like, things need to be organic to me. Like,
is it because she introduced it? Like that's why it feels forced instead of like people just chanting it?
I want to say the theme song. I don't want to say her specifically.
Okay.
I want to go more direct.
Then it's kind of her introducing it, right?
Yeah. But the theme song, how it chants CEO to start, that's just like a kindergarten level of wrestling fandom for what to do, like chant and when to chant and all that. So it felt like that was over. It felt like it hit me over the head. I think it's just because I am very familiar with her game, that her opening promo did nothing for me. I'm not gonna say it was awful, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing either.
She's
I
never
think it did a job.
She's never been an amazing talker either, though. So
she just says what she says, and is good at saying that. She's not like elaborate that way, but when she says something, you believe it. That I agree with. My thing though with the promo was that, like, to me it was just like, all right, like, we've been waiting so long here. You know what I mean? Like, like, just get to the point. And to me, it's just like, all right, she's here, ha rah. But the end, also didn't like how Willow Nightingale and Rio main evented. Like, I'm sorry, I get that if it's because of Mercedes Moné being there, fine, I'll get that and understand that. But like, you have Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland, probably the hottest feud right now, along with like the Undisputed Era kind of looming. That should be main eventing every week leading up to your pay-per-view. That's your, like, I'm sorry, you're leading up to Dynasty. The thing you should be celebrating the most should be built up in the final segment. That's just to me. And I just am not sold on the ending of that show being Mercedes Moné pretty much targeting the TBS championship. To me, like, great, that's awesome. Then we're gonna see her versus Julia Hart and even Sky Blue. Like, I'm excited for that. But why is that ending? I don't care. Like, that can be middle of the show and it would have done the same exact thing. To me, it's just more about the spacing and placing of the events, which is why at the end of the day, I'm not upset that I missed it, because I got everything out of it. And the only thing I'm really upset about is what I think should have ended in either Okada or realistically, unbiasedly, the championship match.
So I have 3 things. And this is just from somebody who watched it unfold on Twitter. I don't watch AEW, so I have,
But ball.
Well, I mean, I pay attention to like kind of like what's going on. I'm not a fan.
You spark note ball. Yeah, you spark note it.
I these are just some things that I saw. But this is one question that I have because
Okay.
I saw some people say people were arguing over the pop she got, and some were saying it wasn't that big. Some people were saying, you know,
Oh, it was big.
Saraya
I
got a bigger pop when she returned.
no.
But I'm just telling you what I see on Twitter. I don't
No,
know.
I know, no, I know.
But
I know. I'm answering
but
it for you. My
yeah,
side.
but based on like how you're reacting, and I'm seeing a couple people in the chat are saying it as well. Do you think that part of the reason why maybe it felt a little underwhelming, or it didn't hit how you were hoping, like the things that she was saying or whatever, do you think it's because people knew she was going to debut even though they never really like officially announced it? It's like you were just waiting,
1000%.
and then you knew that it was going to be in Boston, so it just is not as exciting. Do you think that's kind of okay? Because I'm like, I think that
1000%.
really
I'm letting you
does
go. Yeah.
play that really does play a part in these types of debuts or returns or whatever. It's like it's not bad for people to know, but it can be bad because I feel like this could have been maybe even like one of their bigger moments in AEW to have Mercedes there. And it's like I understand uh making it happen in Boston, and like having her open the show and making it a big deal, and like having her be like a constant theme throughout the show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that we've seen this before. We've seen it so many times, like when someone is returning and they'll either tease it or tell you it's happening and it just isn't the same. It's like I think an
Exactly.
example is like Randy Orton when he returned at Survivor Series. Like, why would they have spoiled it? Why not just let it happen? Because then it was like it was exciting, and obviously people reacted, but you compare that to the CM Punk return, like a half hour later, and it's like
Yeah, the
I
big
understand there's a difference, but
yeah.
at the same time, it's like knowing someone was returning versus not knowing someone was returning. You know what I mean? Like I feel there's a difference that they probably could have gotten a better reaction, or at least universal better reaction, had they just
Yeah.
not spoiled it.
It was
Um
just to me what I saw out of it was if you're gonna do that and build this like show and around her, then give her a target. It just more felt like you were just introducing her, and then it was like, you know, a subtle hint at what she's going for to end it. Like, if you're gonna do that, she should be having a target in mind, and not just for the people who are like, well, the target's the women's division. She's gonna take over the women's division. No, of course she is. That's why she's fucking there.
well, that's
I'm
the
saying
thing
you
though.
gotta
That's
have
like
a
that's
target in mind. Like, are you going after Tony Storm? Are you going after Julia Hart? Or are you going after someone that you have unfinished business with that you just like get you fresh? But it's like, all right, at least you have a direct focus. That was
well
my biggest issue because I'm just watching this. And I'm just like, all right, cool, she's here. And she's dropping hints for the people that like aren't really familiar or like just want a cheap pop that are there. I was like, all right,
mhm.
like where are you going? Like who are you after? Are you gunning after the house? Are you going after Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May? Like, are you going to be teaming up with somebody? Like, I don't know.
I think
Want to know?
I think that it's yeah, no, I can see that because I mean Saraya came back and that was like what she was doing too. It's just like I'm back, like I'm coming after all of you, and it's like okay, cool, but like what am I supposed to get excited about? Like if I don't know like who you
Exactly. Like,
yeah, and
like
so
what
I
am
get
I
it.
doing?
I also
Wow.
wanted to ask this because I saw someone. I haven't watched it. I feel like I have to be on defense mode 24/7. But since you weren't too fond of her promo, did you feel like it had a WWE feel to it? And that's
A
part of the problem
1000%.
because
Yes,
I
that
saw some
makes
people saying that she
different crowd.
didn't exactly fit in because she was brought up in the WWE system, so she does things the WWE way, and so people were saying that that was one reason why they weren't like huge fans of her promo, because it just felt like it was written by a WWE person or something.
No, it's just very if I wouldn't say it just in a way it followed a formula
Mhm.
and where you just go out there to talk. And that's what I was just like, all right, I've seen this before. Like, I want you to go one-on-one with like, I would rather someone come out and like ruined it. You know what I mean? Like, come out and ruin it and then like start there, like then hit your move and be like, oh my God, don't wait till the end of the show. Like, no one, like, that's the thing. This is what happens. And it's my only real critiques. I do like AEW, like, I really do. But and I like Tony Khan because of his passion, but there's just some things you want to just grab and be like, get your fandom out of the way. Like, you got to get your fandom out of the way. And think of the dollar signs. The dollar signs are going towards Swerve Strickland and Samoa Joe. That match is going to be absolutely incredible. Okay. The build for it has been good. Not great, but good. Mainly because it's just Swerve. Like, you're so behind Swerve. So because of that, why don't you give him that main event? Like, have Wardlow and Joe go a little longer in that main event. Get like Roderick Strong in there. Like, make it so that even though it's Joe versus Swerve, like the Undisputed Era, they still want that title. That's the devil. And then boom, you have that looming thing. And then when he wins, he not only defeated Joe, but the other guy in his obstacle, in his way. And then now he's so over as your champion. You don't care how long he reigns. And you can have him go up against, I don't know, the Undisputed Era, who just caught or tried to cost him. Joe's going to enact his rematch clause at some point. And remember the guy who's kind of better than everybody and he knows it? Yeah, he's still out in injury, but coming back soon. And they tease something that would during MJF's title reign. Like, there's already plants there that you can make that happen where Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, whatever you want to call her, you do that like A block of your show. Like, just get it out of the way. Because you know it. You knew it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
If it was more of a surprise and more of like who really is it going to be, then yeah, drag it up for the whole show. But the fans know it. They're so online 24/7, just like the goddamn owner of the company, that they just know this. And it's the immediate gratification where they see it, they got it, they digested it. Now they want to move on.
Yeah.
And moving on to Samoa Joe and Swerve. Jeez,
I do think
gospel.
I do think that people need to give her some time though, because I think that, like, I understand why people were not fans necessarily of what she had to say, but I think people also need to give her some grace because she spent a little bit of time in the indies before she went to WWE, but like that was her life for, however many years, 10 years or whatever. So it's like she is going to have to learn how to adapt to a new style that a different company does, So I think that I would say to some people who are being a little bit like overly critical that they need to like give her some time to figure it out, and then you'll see if she's like a good fit or not,
Mm-hmm. All right, Sarah, what's your lemon of the week? Since that was a long one. We got a lot of videos to cut, so
I know.
No time limit this episode.
I am beyond irritated about the tag team match stuff that they announced on Raw. So we assumed that there was going to be an announcement about the plans for Judgment Day at WrestleMania. We had talked about it being a ladder match and that this is going to be a way for them to split the titles, blah, blah, blah. So we get the announcement on Raw that, yes, this will be like a multi-man match. It will be 5 or 6 teams. Is it 6 teams? Is it 6 teams? I think so.
It's 6 teams.
No, it's
6 5 in Judgment Day.
Yeah.
5 in Judgment Day.
And then it'll be for the Undisputed Championships or the Unified Championships, whatever. They said it'll be 3 Raw teams and 2 SmackDown teams. So they announced the 3 matches on Raw that will determine the 3 teams. And that is what has me so pissed off, because they have New Day versus Otis and Tozawa of Alpha Academy, DIY versus Creed Brothers, which I was kind of surprised about. And then they have Indus Sher versus Awesome Truth. So those are the teams that are on Raw. I just want to ask anybody who could explain it to me why Imperium is not in this match, or any of them. Can you explain? And the
No, I
reason
can't.
the reason I'm even more irritated is they literally just beat New Day in a street fight. I understand that they put into Sheer to Awesome Truth because they clearly want Awesome Truth to be in the match, but like, couldn't you have picked another one of the teams that you inevitably were going to have lose anyway? Like, why not have like Awesome Truth versus the Creeds or something? Because it's like one of them is gonna lose. Okay, well, if that's it, then I can be more okay with it. But then at the same time, it's like I'm still pissed because it's just like it makes no sense to me. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Like,
No,
it
yeah.
it just is like, if it would be super unfortunate if Ludwig is hurt, but I can be like, okay, whatever. Like, I can get behind like okay, yeah, he can't perform, right? But like, I still really would not be surprised if they would not have been in the match anyway. Like, I really would not, if they were, even if they were one of the teams that were in here. Let's say they even replaced like Indus Sheer. I really wouldn't be surprised if they didn't put Imperium in this match. And it's like, what more are these dudes supposed to do to qualify for a title match, like a tag title match? Like, what are they supposed to do?
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get them ready for, like, if he is hurt, then get them ready for them being the first opponents to challenge. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. But like, I would see more that he's hurt. I would see more that he's hurt.
But then there's the problem of, why aren't they splitting the titles? What is putting the tag titles in a ladder match going to do? You're saying there are far too many tag teams, too many talented tag teams. We really need to do something about the tag titles. So let's put them in a ladder match, and whoever wins them both. What exactly are we doing then? How is the tag division benefiting?
No idea.
Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm already irritated because you already know that Pretty Deadly are going to go against Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, and they're going to fucking lose. So then I'm just like, like, I'm already all sorts of mad because like I don't have a single one of my favorite tag teams in this match. I'm so mad. I'm just like,
I do think they split the belts during this match, though. I think
they
there's going to
have
be some.
to.
They have to.
Yes, I agree. Imperium would be a great. They should. That's
Maybe that's the plan. Give Awesome Truth like a little bullshit month run.
But the ladder match splits the belts. That's not what they said, though.
I've seen reports online that they're
doing what we said. They watched the show. They watched
Sarah,
the show. I propose the idea of having each title hanging off a ladder. And that way one team wins the SmackDown and one team wins the Raw. If they do that, I'm giving myself kudos.
Yeah, Sarah, they of course watch the show. I have connects in Stanford. All right. I got my peeps that are like, oh my God, it's Pitts.
Oh my God.
That's the dead serious, by the way, that I have connects within. Like, they probably do listen and like, holy shit, it's Pitts with a belt. What is he doing?
So, I mean, overall, I'm excited that this is.
Sorry. That's a problem. Like, now you know I'm sick, is I can't like laugh properly.
Yeah.
It's bad.
So I am excited that we're gonna get this match. Like, we're gonna have a ladder match, and it's gonna crown potentially 2 new tag teams. But I'm just disappointed with the fact that 2 of my favorite teams are probably not going to be there, and I feel like they've both deserved to be in there. I mean, hello, Pretty Deadly, for example, have been multi-time NXT tag champions. So like, I don't know. I'm just frustrated. But anyway, that's definitely my lemon.
That has to be your lemon. And we went on a little bit of a rant, some might say, about my lemon. So let's just hop right into what's poppin'. What's poppin', Sarah? All right, let's see what's poppin' from the peeps before we get into our topics of the day. Trying to see if we haven't got anything. Mr. Anderson, I do agree that this is gonna slap, and we'll tease next week. I think Deonna Purrazzo's partner is Britt Baker, because god damn it, we need her back on television. I'm so like, she's good. All right, maybe not like fantastic in the ring, but she is someone that like part of the women's division that needs to be on your television nearly every week, because you build her up as a pillar only woman signed at the time. Like, you need to start building that up again. She's been there from the beginning. Like, help her out. And yeah, I think I said this too, Mr. Anderson. Looks like we're getting a lot of multi-man matches this year. It does feel like Mr. Teddy Long. But no, to me, it seems like it's that WrestleMania 2000 where it was way too much booking. Triple H experienced that time and was like, whoa, way too much booking. This can be done right. He's going to do it the right way. And there is a way where you can have only 2 or 3 one-on-one matches and have the rest be multi-man, and it actually work because you have the talent to do so. You don't have the Green Street posse coming out just to get a residual check because of their boy Shane. No, you have like legit people that like don't get the spotlight every week on Raw, but fans want to see compete, even if it is for like a stupid 5-minute, 8-minute match. You know, like you want to see them in there. What's it?
I have a comment.
Hey, you have I after this one, I'll let you go. Hey Patty, I'm excited for Adam Cope and Christian Cage next week. Honestly, me too. Because now we have a final end. All right. It's in Toronto. It's for the title. Like, they've built it up too much. Like, once I found out that it was I Quit, or saw that it was I Quit and in Toronto, I'm like, okay, this is why they've been dragging it along so much. This is the definitive end. And then we'll see them both go their separate paths. Christian can do something with finding another person who is dealing with death. And then Adam Copeland can go and, you know, elevate the AEW division. So, Sarah, what do you got?
Chrome Knuckle says Bayley after last night is definitely going to leave WWE and go to AEW. WWE has done her WrestleMania match. You think Bayley's going to AEW?
Dude, good for you.
No, I'm asking you. You think she's going?
Me?
Yeah.
No shot.
Oh, okay.
No shot. No, I'm giving him credit for having this thought because, like, that's just so absurd that I wouldn't even think of it.
Oh, this is the guy who's been giving me a lot of shit lately.
Why, Chrome Knuckle?
But no, yeah, he's been coming at me because apparently I don't watch AEW enough, and I have enough time in my day to do that because he has enough time in his day to do that.
Don't worry. You come to me for AEW. How about that, Chrome Knuckle? Any questions you got about AEW, come to me. All right. Let's start crushing free agency and with the Patriot peeps. That's why I'm here. You got AEW questions, you come to me.
But anyway, I do think this is wrong. She's not going. She was also there when she went to New Japan. No one was saying that she was going to New Japan. So
they're fucking best friends.
And
if my best friend was,
this is why he's we did talk about it.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna talk about it a little more. I think I have a band.
I know, but I'm saying we did talk about it. We did.
Oh,
we talked about all
it's a Thursday show. It's the Thursday show. It's why we talk about that's where we talk about AEW. You know, so that's we talked about it already. All right, so let's just you know what? I'm trying to find something for AEW. All right, here we go. Let's do this because this was crazy to me. Mercedes ankle injury that she suffered actually fighting Willow Nightingale in that New Japan tournament, strong style women's championship, I think it was. She injured the ankle and, you know, was told that his career threatening. Clearly she said F the haters and is now back in AEW. And to be honest, like, this is part of the reason I do really love her as a person, and minus all the comments I said before, because she, like, this is her life. This is what she wants to do. And anyone who has a passion for the business that, you know, I'm all in on, because I love passion. And the fact that she is trying to prove people wrong by this and have her own run, I mean, more power to her, and more of a reason why I truly believe that she is going to elevate this women's division to be, you know, competing with WWE's.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was crazy because I don't think that anyone ever thinks about an ankle injury potentially being something that could end someone's career. So I was a little shocked about that. Like, I knew she had been injured, but I didn't know that it was like as severe. I mean, obviously when you hurt something in your leg, it's going to be a long healing process, because if you walk, obviously that's a lot of stress and weight being put on your, your leg, your foot, whatever. So it's not surprising that she had to be out for as long as she was. But yeah, I am surprised, but I mean, happy for her, because I can't imagine how devastating it would have been if that was something that would have ended her career. And she's expressed so much that she's wanted to experience life outside of WWE. So it would be really unfortunate if she only got, that short amount of time and then had to hang it up. So good for her that she was able to overcome that and now is able to, be in AEW and do everything that she's wanted to do over there. So yeah, it's still crazy. Like I would never think about something like an ankle being career ending. Like that's still wild.
Me either. I would not think of that. You think like heart, neck,
back,
any nerve, back,
yeah,
knee, anything like that. Yeah, I agree with this. I think she should be the next CBS champion. And you have her go on runs against, Sky Blue, Julia Hart,
have it
Willow finally beat.
have it be like a Becky Lynch NXT championship run, where
Yes.
she's like going and putting these younger girls over, underutilized girls over. That'd be
Yes,
a great way. It would be a great way to have her be the champion as early as people want her to be champion, because sometimes it can backfire. Like you want, like, okay, you say Mercedes comes in and then they immediately like make her champion. There are going to be people who are going to be like, of course it would, like that's who she is and she's going to be the champion. Like that's not fair. But I think that you can kind of like overcome that by having her, go against these girls that maybe deserve more time or need to be put over or put on the map in some sort of way. I think that would be a way to get people to be like, okay, it's fine,
Do a Monet, something money related open challenge.
Yeah.
On Dynamite, Rampage, or even Collision.
Yeah.
And you have Billy Starks come out. Like Billy Starks versus Sasha Banks would be probably a dream come true, not only to the fans, but to Billy Starks, who is like the ultimate Bayley fan, and by de facto, probably a Sasha fan too. Oh, wait, wasn't she in the crowd? I'm like 90% sure that Billy Starks was in the crowd during the Iron Woman match, like highly regarded, greatest women's wrestling match in NXT history. I think she was in the crowd for that. So full circle, yes. Like TK, this is the shit that I love you to do. Like love you for, that you have the ability to do. I would love you even more if you just did it.
Yeah.
And don't make the champ do it. Because I'll do it one way or another. Once we get our own wrestling promotion, one day, Sarah. I'm trying to think of more Dynamite comments here so we can make this like the Dynamite, because I don't have a banner for Dynamite. I kind of ranted a little bit with the lemon, but I do want to give it a full, however time. What is it here? Next week Dynamite gonna cook. Yeah, you got that. And then Okada. See, that's the thing I want to see too. I want to see Eddie Kingston versus Okada. All right. Eddie Kingston is someone who loves the wrestling side of the business. And that's what basically New Japan and, in the American version, All Elite Wrestling is. And to have these two dudes go at it, this is where I think he'll drop it and Okada will become the Continental Classic champion, whatever, Continental champion. And then the Bucks will do that, whatever. So I love that. What else here? Do we have anything? Tony Khan, don't listen to the fans. Here's the thing. I think he listens to them a little too much. That's my problem. He listens to them way too much.
Yeah, it's because he's a fan himself. That's the problem.
Exactly. And when you're a fan yourself, like Sarah and I could, say all we want about like Pretty Deadly, or for me, like Kevin Owens, or, something like that. But at the end of the day, like we're like, no, that makes zero sense for them to do right now. We love you, but no. And we put our thinking caps on and do it the right way. All right. So, what is the story? It's building. So you have Okada take it off. It's not about Okada versus Eddie right now. It's about Eddie Kingston versus the EVPs, and Okada is their henchman who does the dirty work. Like he's henchman, and he like does the work. Like that's the bigger story there. And if you're in on that, then you're going to be in for a ride. Trust me, it's very good. They are simply gold. I totally agree that this is the way that they had to go because they were getting stale. It's just the Young Bucks. Like steer into the role as your job as EVP. Like that's where you really bleed or you blur the lines between reality and the show. And that's what made the Attitude Era so well. You can do it in your own way very easily with the social media era. All right, Sarah, I've been talking about AEW. What's the next banner that we can talk about? You know what? You wanted to rant about this. I ranted about AEW. Go off, Queen.
Oh, this is gonna get me a lot of hate, so I'm prepared.
What do you mean? I said Mercedes Moné debuting was not great. You expect
Well,
I'm gonna get so much heat for that.
Well, I've seen people agree, so I don't know, but apparently some of us are in the minority when it comes to saying that yeah, the right person won the gauntlet match, and that was Sami Zayn. Chad Gable did not need to win this match, so I don't care what anyone says. So first of all, they were making it seem for the past couple weeks that it was going to be Gable, that Gable was going to win. They were doing all of this promotion against him, and then they tried to like kind of include like they had a Ricochet video, and I think they had a Bronson Reed one, but it was like it's too late. Like Gable's already been doing all this extra stuff and posting it on his social media. Like, okay, we get it. And then they showed the one that he had posted last week before or during Raw, and he was saying he was going to run the gauntlet and whatever. So that's the first issue that I had. How the hell do you how the hell do you how do you run the gauntlet and you're the last dude out? How do you run the fucking gauntlet and you are the last guy out? Why would I say that you earned your spot? Like, I'm not saying like I always have an issue with like number 30 in a Royal Rumble winning the Rumble because it's just like, come on, dude. You know, like I didn't love that Cody won the Rumble at number 30 and he won it over Gunther, who had been in there since number 1. Like I hated it. Like I love Cody, but I hate that. I just always hate it. So
because
Gable doing that,
fandom gone. See, this is what we mean. You put your bias aside.
So I didn't love that. I did really like the fact that JD McDonough and Ricochet had like a real mini match in their match. Banger, incredible from both of them, because I think a lot of people were really honing in on Ricochet, and of course Ricochet is fantastic, amazing. Like there's no reason for him to be off TV as much as he has been, but people are also overlooking, I would say, JD McDonough. Like it takes two to tango, honey. He was doing some killer stuff in that match as well. So shout out to him. I like that Sammy won and that he came in third. I like that he is the one who eliminated Bronson Reed, because you would assume that he would be the guy that everyone was having a problem getting out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like that Bronson then took the anger out on him. And then Shinsuke thought he was just going to come in and be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to lock this up real quick.
I'm going to go do with his like little dance thing he does. Like all that. Like, what's up?
And
you're done.
I like that Cole mentioned their banger in one of my favorite matches of all time, Shinsuke versus Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Dallas. I love that he mentioned that on commentary, because yes, go watch that if you don't remember it or you haven't seen it. It's incredible. And I think that I like how the start of the match between Gable and Sammy happened. I like that Gable came in and didn't just immediately try to take advantage of the fact that Sammy was down. I like that he said, come on, like we're fighting
what do you think of that? What do you think of him like picking up?
I liked it because
oh fuck, I hated it. I was like, I wanted to kick him in the face. I was just like,
but then you have to remember, it's like they were putting two baby faces against each other, so of course it was going to it was gonna split the audience, right? And that I have so much to say about this, so I have to remember like what I want to talk about.
Yeah, you're the one cutting it, so
I know, so I have to remember. So
you got it.
I liked that because I felt like it just played into the characters better. Like it was like, okay, Gable is coming in, and even though it didn't make sense that he was the last guy out there, he wanted to make sure that if he won a fair fight and wasn't only taking advantage of a guy who is fasting because Ramadan, so he hadn't eaten anything. So I'm like, Sammy, how do you do that? I don't understand.
I don't get it, man. I don't know. I get it.
He didn't want to, immediately win because Sammy had already taken out other guys, but obviously was obliterated by Bronson Reed from jumping off the top rope. And then he just had an intense moment or match, I guess you could say, with Shinsuke Nakamura. So it's like he didn't want to just come in there and win it outright. So that was why I was okay with it. I liked their match. I felt like it was fine. I think I kind of got a hint that they were not going to have Gable win. Once, because I was thinking back to the Royal Rumble and when Punk said, "Did you really think I came back to lose to Dusty's kid?" And a lot of people said that's when I knew that Punk wasn't winning, right? I immediately thought that when Gable was doing the ankle lock for whatever time and he was screaming like, "This means more to me, this means more to me." That was when the moment when I was like, he's losing, like, just because I immediately thought, I replayed the Punk thing in my head.
Connections, there you
And
go.
so Sammy winning I think was the right move, and it's not even just because I'm not necessarily I'm getting hate in the comments already because I'm not a huge fan of Chad Gable. That's not what it's about.
You're getting the Dom heat, Sarah.
I don't even care, dude.
Dude, go with your gut. Let it out. I love it. Preach, girl. Preach.
We can tie this into did you delete it? Oh, the Sammy thing?
No. What Sammy thing?
Oh, the Sammy yeah.
Oh, the Sammy banner. No, yeah. No, I didn't delete that. Go for it.
So I want to tie this in because people were going in after Sammy won because everybody thought it was going to be Gable. Of course you did. They were making you feel like that as well.
Hit you over the head.
I think some people have somewhat of a valid explanation as to why they think Gable was the better story because there is history between him and Gunther. Gable has made it into an even bigger story because he's involving his fatherhood and his family and his child crying, blah, blah, blah. I think that's kind of like a lame story. I'm sorry. I don't care. Like, I don't care that your daughter cried. I don't care. Like, I just
it's
like.
So funny. It's so funny. Your hate. It's so funny.
Like, do you know how many other kids are sitting at home probably crying that their parents lost a match? Like, why is it that I should be more affected if your daughter was there? Like, I just don't really see why that means you deserve to have a rematch when you've already had 2 matches. You've had 2 title matches against Gunther and you lost clean both times. So obviously if you're being put in a gauntlet match, yeah, you can earn another spot even though you've already lost twice. So if he won, I would not have been mad, but I'd be like, all right, whatever. He won the gauntlet. Like, I can't be mad, but I would have been pissed if he came in last and won the gauntlet because to me, that's like a cop out. Like, why would you have done that? He would have needed to enter one and eliminated everybody else. That would be the only way that I'd be like, whatever, I can't complain. But the fact that people are acting like Sami Zayn is some chump that just came in and like won the match and didn't deserve it. When if you really want to think about it, Sami got a big pop when he came out, right? Gable didn't really get much of anything when he came out. And to me, that was the perfect example of how fickle fans are. You guys did not give a crap about Gable 6 months ago. You know what version of Gable you cared about? Alpha Academy Tag Team Gable. You didn't give a crap about him being a singles champion. You didn't care about him dethroning Gunther. You all of a sudden cared about that because he wanted you to care about it after he lost twice. It doesn't matter that Sami Zayn has already been Intercontinental Champion because this is the thing. Everybody was saying Gable needs to win. He deserves it. It makes sense. Blah, blah, blah. He deserves to have his first singles title win. Then he loses, and it's like, oh, well, it's okay because obviously they're going to have Gunther retain anyway. So this would be bad. Like, no one wants to see Gable lose, right? So that was the twist that we're doing. But I don't know what obvious factor there is that's saying Gunther's obviously winning. I don't think that's a thing. And then they're saying, well, that's why they threw him Sami, because then, okay, whatever. Sami is going to go in and he's going to lose anyway. But then you were just rooting for Sami to win and you wanted him to take the title off Gunther. Like, you can't have it both ways.
Fans. You
So that's what I'm saying.
fickle people.
Then all of a sudden, we're pretending that we all care. And it's like, you didn't care. And I still stick to the whole notion that if Gable had won the gauntlet, gone on to beat Gunther at Mania, none of you would have cared. You wouldn't have cared after a week. You wouldn't have. I don't care. Like, I don't care. And you guys can hate on me all you want. I have the right to I have the right to have my opinion. So if you guys are going to do with that and then start attacking me personally, feel free to click off or unsubscribe, because I ain't dealing with that anymore. You don't have to watch what I have to say. You don't have to agree with my opinion.
Boo me. We don't care. Go off. You just go off. You just do it.
And no, you're not getting a triple threat, guys, because this is the other thing. You're saying his shoulders.
His shoulders were down, Sarah. His shoulders were down. What happened?
This is the thing. Watch a previous pin when Gable did the exact same thing. What is it? Roll up, whatever.
Yeah, the roll up, and then like the arms.
The exact same pin. Gable did that to Sammy. Sammy's shoulders looked exactly the same way. The referee counted. Nobody gave a shit about it then. If Gable had won then, none of you would have been out there saying, oh, Sammy's shoulders weren't down. None of you would have been saying that. It's because you want him to be in a triple threat. But it's not happening. Not to mention making this into a triple threat, and I really hope they don't do this because of the reaction online or whatever. Do you know how badly that hurts Sammy's credibility? Like, all of it, again, you guys are not thinking about how over Sammy has been, right? And all of a sudden, you're jumping on the bandwagon of caring about Gable. That's fine. You can be a big Gable fan, even if it was a month ago that you started being a fan. But, like, a lot of people have been behind Sammy. So then if you say, oh, we're going to make it a triple threat because the fans want Gable in the match, do you know how bad that makes Sammy look? Sammy just bust his butt in that match, right? And then you're going to discredit him by throwing Gable in the match because you guys are complaining. Do you know how bad that is? Like, I understand that you're upset because you wanted Gable to win, but like, to act as if that's not damaging Sammy in some sort of way is beyond understandable to me. Because, like, let's not forget how the run that Sammy was on last year. I don't recall anyone talking about Gable last year. Like, and yeah, I'm on one today. I don't care. I have been attacked by so many people in the comments and over this past week, including you, Chrome Knuckle.
Jeez,
I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not.
Sara is just, oh man.
Can you send me the link? You're going to get cooked by me. What?
I'm all set. You're
gonna get cooked. You're gonna cook me. Cook me what? I didn't say anything wrong. Tell me where I was wrong.
Maybe he meant like, I don't think he meant like me.
I respect your opinion until you start telling me that my full-time job doesn't do anything or whatever. It's not funny because I don't think you understand how much it's been going off on me, and I try to be as like nice as possible. I'm not gonna chill. I'm defending myself.
I'm laughing here. I'm in tears.
You guys are going after me.
This is just pure entertainment. This is sports entertainment in a nutshell. Absolute chaos. I love it.
And Mr. Anderson says, just remember, Sami Zayn wouldn't be in this spot if Lesnar wasn't dealing with all the stuff he's dealing with. It's true. We were expecting that it was going to be Brock Lesnar, and that's the thing. It's like, that's another aspect, but also, like, since when does it necessarily matter if Sammy or anybody has already been a champion? That means that they shouldn't go after a championship. Since when is that a factor? Like, people also trying to say, oh, it's because we wanted Sammy to go after the world heavyweight title and we wanted him in a triple threat. That's a lie. That's not why any of you were complaining about Sammy winning and Gable not winning. Nobody said that on Monday night. No one was saying that. And that's not true. Why would Sammy have been thrown into that match? Like, that doesn't make any sense. People are just trying to like figure out a way to like make it make sense, but it's not.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. All right. So I've just been laughing here and kind of just been
I wish that you
in the
wouldn't laugh
crowd.
because it's like discrediting me also. It's like making people think that I'm being
No, I'm laughing at the people, not you.
okay.
Clearly. No, clearly not you. I'm laughing at the just like it's the insanity. It's just like they get so revved up.
Well,
It's so revved up.
my thing is like people are allowed to talk trash to you or like disrespect you or be rude, and then the second that you defend yourself or like try to shut it down, then it's hilarious because you're so worked up and you're so bothered about what people are saying. Yet the whole reason I'm responding to you is because you were worked up over something I was saying. Like
Mhm.
but then I'm the bad guy because I'm defending myself or I'm just saying like, well, this is my opinion. Like
Yeah.
it's an internet way of thinking, obviously, but
Very internet.
it is what it is.
It's madness. That's kind of what March brings, to be honest with you. Just madness in March. All right, we can get rid of that. Uh
Mm,
Andrade aligning with the Judgment Day a little bit because we didn't get to talk about it on the Raw Rewind. So let's talk about it now.
hold
There's
on,
no
hold on. You spelled judgment Day
er,
wrong.
I spelled Judgment Day wrong. Well,
Yep,
when you're not spelling words for a while.
there's not an E in judgment.
Oh. Oh, I always screw that one up.
Hold on. I'm not telling you to shut up. I'm just saying I don't like it when people talk trash. That's all I'm saying. Like if you're gonna be rude over to me, that's when I have a problem. And I'm not saying it's just you. There's been plenty of hate comments on my channel recently. Nobody disrespect you over the
There's a
wrestling.
lot of hate.
I'm so
There's a lot
confused
of
about
hate.
what is happening. I'm just saying, like, if you guys had seen the comments on my channel the past 2 weeks, you would understand why my frustration is here. Because
You
it's
hit a
like
boiling point.
it just becomes overwhelming when it's like I feel like all I'm doing is talking about the show and expressing my opinion and people take it as gospel as if like I'm somehow writing the shows or like whatever. And it's like it's not that serious. I'm just telling you I don't agree with this or I think this was a good idea or this person was the wrong person and this was the right person. Like it's just not that deep. But then when it starts when comments start to get personal, that's when I'm like, yeah,
That's when
I'm gonna
that's when we
defend
gotta step it
myself.
up. That's when we gotta step it up.
Okay. So because I'm kind of intrigued by this Andrade thing, but I'm also wondering if it's not going to be that he's going to be a part of Judgment Day. I saw someone saying that what if like Dom splits off and like it joins um Andrade, or what if Andrade comes in but they boot someone out? I don't know. I feel like we haven't really seen enough from Andrade to really say one way or the other, but based off of the one match that he's had and how they seem to be presenting him,
Mhm.
it looks like they want him to be a baby face. So him aligning himself with Judgment Day doesn't really make sense, and I would almost hate that for him because it feels like going down the same path that he was already on in his first WWE run, you know?
Yeah. To me it just seems like it's going to be more of an alliance. Like he's not in the group. He's not in the group. They're not targeting him. It seems more like a more mutual allegiance with Andrade than it was with Drew. Like they only didn't go after Drew because Rhea said no.
Yeah.
And now you have Andrade where it's more of a group decision. Like, well, he's boys with Dom. Dom, what do you think? He's like, oh yeah, it's my boy. Like, you just don't mess with him. Like, he can help us out, and then that's it. Like, and that's what you need more in this era. Like, that's what I think the beauty of not only just the whole Papa Paul regime, but just this new age we're in, is that just because you have someone who's not in the faction and then the faction themselves doesn't mean that they have to be in it. They can just
Mhm.
align themselves. If you look in life, like in businesses, there's people that, aren't working on the same team, but they help each other out. And that's more bleeding into real life scenarios where like he does his own thing. He doesn't need to be part of Judgment Day. But if he needs us to have his back, then we
Yeah.
got his back. And that's all it needs to be at the end of the day, because Judgment Day does not have a lot of people that can align that can say they're allies with them right now, especially leading up to Mania, where it's all about aligning yourself with someone to help you finish your story.
I am interested though because they've kind of teased Judgment Day turning babyface, and I know that it's like it just depends on the moment. At least with Rhea in Australia being cheered, well, yeah, because she's in Australia, or like Judgment Day. Who were they against where they were getting cheered for over the tag team? It was just like 2 weeks ago.
Was it? I think it was Imperium. They were
Was
getting
it?
cheered over Imperium. Yeah,
Okay,
they were
yeah.
getting cheered.
So
Yeah.
I get it. It's like 2 heel teams against each other, but I mean, it feels like, even like the R-Truth stuff at first, it seemed like, okay, this is a little bit too nice going on. So if that was a direction they were going in, then that makes a little bit more sense. But I feel like Andrade has his own vibe that I don't know that I would want to see him like completely in Judgment Day and going in that direction. I think that being allies would be interesting. I think him aligning himself with Dominic would be interesting, especially because, Dom still kind of talks randomly about Ray and being a deadbeat dad, whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued by it, at least so far.
I'm very intrigued by this. I'm very intrigued, especially with the direction it can go. Andrade's, he could kind of align himself too with Legado and feud with LWO. There's the Ray element there too. Like, there's a lot of different things in that little multiverse that they got going on that I'm very excited about. So, all right, we got some comments here. Dominic Andrade, Priest, new group Latino Hell. Oh no, Latino new group Latino. Hell yeah! All right, there we go.
Latino hell, that would be funny.
Latino hell. This Latino. I don't even know how to come up with something. He's targeting Dom.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, I feel like that's kind of interesting. But yeah,
interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to see how they go about that. If that is going on. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Let's go to this one now because the Hall of Fame has been pretty much announced with the news of Thunderbolt, I think his name is. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it's Thunderbolt, was an African-American champion, busted barriers, all that stuff, which is great. Finally getting his recognition in the Hall of Fame this year. You had the US Express, which is Mike Rotunda. He's getting in along with Bull Nucano and Paul Heyman. But you see, I mentioned one Rotunda, and I didn't mention the other, the one who recently passed away, Bray Wyatt, has not been announced. And it seemed like we were talking, weeks after his death, that it's a shoo-in for a Hall of Fame induction this year. Do you think that it would be a mistake if they didn't do it this year?
I think so. Because I feel like it's fresh on everyone's mind. I know that there's some people who debate whether or not he had a Hall of Fame career or not. And I feel like I think that's subjective, like I think that the contributions that he made to professional wrestling go beyond what he did in the ring, because I know that people are saying like, oh, he didn't have like that many great matches, or like his title run was bad, or whatever they want to say, right? It's like, but I feel like he added so much more to wrestling that even like AEW implements, that it's like, I feel like that deserves a Hall of Fame spot anyway, because like the way his brain worked, the way he did, the matches with the Hardys, and like in the match with Cena at WrestleMania, and it's all like cinematic, and the characters that he created, and I think it's like he also gave inspiration to people, like in the direction that they could go to for characters, because I think a lot of people, for the most part, because it's not the 90s anymore, have been trying to stick to like human elements, like stick strictly like not non-human type of characters, if you know what I mean, because the 90s was all about being a superhero and being bigger than life and whatever, in the 80s as well, obviously. But he brought in like having multiple personalities and multiple sides of you, and he was able to show you like who Wyndham was, but then it was also like, what is going on? This is a weird version of Bray Wyatt. It's like the Fiend was amazing. The Wyatt family was incredible. Like I think that it's hard, because I think when you have like a certain mindset of what the Hall of Fame is, obviously you can think that it's strictly based on just accomplishments that you can write down, And if you're doing that, then yeah, okay, maybe Bray doesn't fall into that category because, you know, he didn't have 16 championship title reigns. But as I said, I do think that he brought so much more to professional wrestling that is not going recognized. And I think that because of that alone, it's like that you could couple with everything he did in the ring and the things that he accomplished. I think that is worthy of a Hall of Fame induction.
It absolutely is worth a Hall of Fame induction. And I'm seeing commentary. I thought Thunderbolt was the last. Thunderbolt Patterson, Damon said. I thought he was the last. That's why I wanted to bring this up today, and why you said, and I thought it was a good idea to bring it up today. I thought he was the last person, but if he's not, then there's hope still.
Well, from what I'm seeing, there might be 2 more spots. One being The Rock's grandmother, which I'm like,
see that
because he's had a hand in picking out who. I don't even get me started on this, but
he's
had a hand in.
Should be. I agree. She should be.
I'm not disagreeing if she should or if she should. I'm not saying like whether. I'm just saying like of course, yeah, like putting in your grandmother, like yeah, you would because you're like in charge of it. But I do think that it's like a sticky situation now because they have his dad going in and his uncle going in, and it seems like yeah, okay, this seems like yeah, you're not putting him in now because it's like you're gonna have his family members in, so that was their way of being like, okay, well. Maybe they'll talk about Wyndham, and it's like, but you can't really when you're talking about your own careers, like you can't then just like let your son be, you know, like because it's not relevant to what you did in your career.
Yeah,
but I just feel like it would be a missed opportunity for them to not do it this year because how many other times have we seen wrestlers who were big in WWE get inducted the following year after they passed away? Like I just feel like this is the year to do it with Bray.
Eddie Guerrero.
I know. So what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
Most
it's
notable.
Like, yeah.
And
I think that
still
waiting
had a ton left in his career.
Yeah.
He's supposed to face Shawn Michaels at that year's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Ray wasn't supposed to win. And it was supposed to be Shawn Michaels versus Eddie Guerrero. Like that's a what if timeline that is crazy to think about.
Yeah. So I just think it would be a mistake, but I mean, it's kind of looking like that. But whatever, I guess.
I hope not. I really hope not. Do we have any, different personality like Mick Foley? Like that's the thing. Like Mick Foley was here, and then Bray Wyatt elevated it with his characters.
It's like,
and that's something that,
and it's what anybody who has ever said anything about Bray Wyatt, like working with him or just learning from him, everybody had said like he had the most incredible mind, something that they have never seen before, that he would come up with these ideas, that he was so collaborative, that he was so creative. And it's like, to me, that means almost more in the big scheme of things than being a good wrestler and putting on a good match. Like if you can make people interested every single time you're putting a microphone to your lips, to me, that's like beyond. Like everybody was looking forward to, first of all, Bray Wyatt returning, and they did an epic way of him returning, which is like gives me goosebumps still thinking about to this day. But then it was like you never knew what was going to happen with him, what he was going to say, what the next move was going to be, what the Firefly Funhouse was going to be. And it's like, to me, that means more than if he had, a bunch of title wins and then you just wiped out all of this other stuff. Like,
yeah,
it would just be another guy that accomplished a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. To me, there's more to putting him in than just his accomplishments. But
yeah, he got me so back into wrestling, but not only that, made me think of it through a different lens that absolutely needs to be recognized in something like the Hall of Fame. And I mean, you touched on it with the amount of people he's impacted, but it's more about what he did for the evolution of it and the cinematic matches. Like obviously that would have been implemented, if he wasn't there because of the Hardys, but Bray made it so that WWE did it right, and they did it in a way where it could be replicated for years.
Yeah, and
so that's to me like
all the companies do it.
All the companies now, like there's so much influence there, and even the Hardys one, Matt Hardy definitely took something away from doing one with him. You know what I mean? Like it's about the impact you make, and that's what makes you Hall of Fame worthy. there's nobody in my mind who embodies a Hall of Fame at this point in life than Bray Wyatt, or Wyndham Rotunda, the person, because I think that is more influential than Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, is Wyndham as the person being more influential and deserving of a Hall of Fame spot. So I hope we see that. And, I really am praying, because we did manifest that a little bit, talking about it when we were getting ready for WrestleMania and everything we wanted to see. And I think Paul Heyman, it's going to be a privilege to see that, because, love him, hate him, say what you want about him, but Paul Heyman is one of my favorite, and who I believe is one of the most influential minds in all of wrestling. I watched that documentary one night, and I mean, he really just, I fell in love with him from the character standpoint, to the point where anytime if I'm at a live event and he talks, I get like mesmerized. I remember one Raw, he was talking about Brock, and my buddy was trying to like nudge me, and he's like, Pitts, and I just was locked in on Paul Heyman, because when he speaks, it legitimately feels like, someone dropping gospel. Like it's unbelievable. So I can't wait for that. And I really hope Bray Wyatt, Hall of Fame. No, okay, good. Oh, I didn't delete it. Oh, I thought I deleted the next banner, but I didn't. We got Jey Uso challenging his brother Jimmy to a match at Mania this year. And I'm for it. The way he did it, he came out on Monday and pretty much just laid it out, cut a promo being like, you cost me this title, that title. I wanted to come to Raw to get a clean slate, but can't get you off me. Feels like a leech. And you know what? Like, I don't care that it was this abrupt, because I want to see the story. We have enough time right now and with 2 shows to build it. But other than that, I'm just excited that we finally have this announced and that we can get ready for it.
Yeah, I don't love, obviously, as I said, off air, I didn't love how he did when they had him go about this. I felt like it was just a little anticlimactic, and I felt like there were some better ways that they could have gone about it. But I think part of the reason why it could have felt that way is because they're not having Jay on TV that much. Like over the past like month or two, he's really not on that much, and I don't really know why. But I mean, I guess as you said, I mean, we knew that this was going to happen. Like we knew that this match was going to be happening this year at WrestleMania. So I guess this is the way that they just wanted to get it out there, and hopefully they'll have plans regarding both of them. Like maybe Jay will be on SmackDown this week or something like that. Since Jimmy has been showing up to Raw, just to get it a little bit more exciting, because it's like you can't only rely on it being Uso versus Uso and then that's enough for people to be excited about it. Like there needs to be a little bit more involved than relying on that alone. So hopefully we see a little bit more, but I am excited that we'll get to see it.
What do you think we need the bad man?
I think it would be interesting, because I didn't he allude to being the referee or something, or like being in the around.
Needs to be. Like, it's not even funny. Like, he really needs to be the referee in this. Like,
but I feel like that could have strong bloodline implications, because like if he's the referee, what if he like chose a side? What if he
then that just adds more fuel to the fire for the main event.
So that's what I mean. Like, what if he decided to side with Jimmy and be like, I'm siding with the bloodline because this is the bloodline, and then it's like, oh my god, you turned on your own son? Or what if he sides with Jay, so he's like saying to Jimmy, like, you're messed up, like what are you doing? Like it's so interesting. But
I don't know about Solo.
I think Solo is going to remain loyal
to his own
to
thing.
Roman.
But he needs to do Roman's thing. He's part of Roman's thing.
I still want him to turn on Roman, even if he doesn't have the
title. That's
inevitable. I want him to be
inevitable.
the one to. Yeah, I want him to do it, because I think it's like the least expected thing. And I need to be right in some regard when it comes to Solo versus Roman, because I think Cody's going to win the title. That means Solo can't win the title from Roman. So I would like to see him at least turn on him, because I've been saying that for so long. But
you want to see something.
Yeah.
You want to see something happen. Oh, yeah. Well, Solo could sing the national anthem because he has a great voice. The Rock alluded to that.
Oh,
so you could
jeez.
sing that. Oh man, he's funny. All right, I know you're just not. I can't wait for his like 30-minute promo tomorrow, right before SmackDown.
And
Oh,
get
it's gonna
cut.
get me all good.
Yeah.
No, like his Instagram one.
I
He's
know.
gonna do one. I can't wait for that. I'll
Mhm.
be right down here. I'll be waiting. We got another blood feud cooking during WrestleMania weekend. I alluded to it earlier. Mellow Trick confirmed. Needs to happen. I think this is gonna be generational.
This is gonna be
gonna
so
be
good.
this could be unbelievable. Where is it? Is it at the Wells Fargo?
Mhm.
Stand deliver? Well,
Yeah.
it's next door is the link, so
Yeah.
don't have a long walk after. But yeah, the entire Wells Fargo is gonna be chanting "Whoop that trick," and it's gonna be
And you know who
it's gonna be
else will
awesome.
be? Lash Legend.
Oh, did you? That was another thing I thought was awesome.
I
Tuesday.
totally like knew that they were dating, like I saw it, but I didn't remember it, you know? So
Yeah,
I thought it was funny that they like just exposed that on NXT, and I'm like, all right, like I guess I'm here for it. I don't know, like I don't really know why it needed to be a thing on screen, but if that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. But yeah,
It was funny.
I am so excited about this match. This is one that we've been saying we needed to have happen at Stand and Deliver. I wish that the title could have been involved because I think that would have been like one heck of a way for Mello to go to the main roster and for him to like pass the torch to Trick. But I'm just excited because like I feel like this is I don't know. I just think this is going to be such a good match, and it's like there's so much history with them, and that's what makes it even more exciting. Like in the ring it's going to be so good, but like psychologically, like storyline, character wise,
Oh yeah,
this is going to be so good. So I am very excited that I will be able to be there, and I'm just excited to see both of them. It's like not that I don't like Mello, but I'm just really excited to be able to like whoop that Trick like in person.
I like it. Whoop that trick. Whoop
Yeah.
that. I've seen Mello live. He wrestled somebody on main event before Raw last year when Sora and I went. That was really cool to see. And he's really good. He's very good.
Well, yeah.
So it's gonna be really fun to see him actually compete in NXT because I don't think I haven't been to an NXT. I almost went to one. But I chose something over it. I forget what it was. Oh, I wanted to watch AEW.
I've been to NXT, but it was the original NXT where it was filmed before Raw. So
you went to the dark days.
The original, like Derek Bateman
Jesus.
and Percy Watson and Skip Sheffield, you know?
Oh, he's a legend now, I heard.
Yeah.
I hear like Skip Sheffield's incredible.
Yeah.
Like he's like he fought for the WWE championship. You know, like everybody loves
Told
him.
me to go fuck myself once at a show.
Of course he did. That does not surprise me in the slightest. That fucking bastard. I hate that guy so much. This is interesting. All right, I don't want to talk too much about it, but Booker T did allude to this on his podcast Hall of Fame, and I just like I hope this isn't anything that turns into something big, and I hope it's just them like clashing, like just an argument, like it didn't go anything more than fisticuffs, because to me this just would seem like it's eras clashing, like Booker T being like, "Why are you there?" and trying to talk down to Punk about giving advice to the younger generation, younger talent. And if that's the case, then sure. But like, I really hope this is not the foreshadowing of something more.
Yeah, I think that in a way it was like kind of irresponsible for him to say this and then not provide context or like what actually happened, because he was saying like, oh, I'll tell you off air, and it's like I understand sometimes like you get caught up in the moment and you say things and then you're like, oh crap, like I just said this to this. But like I think if it wasn't anything, it was irresponsible. If it was something, it was irresponsible because we know the history of Punk. We know why he was let go from AEW. We know why there were people who weren't thrilled about him being back in WWE. And unless this was something that just like could not be contained or could not be kept private, then we would have heard about it, but this is the first that we heard about it. No one said anything until he did. And then to not provide any details about it, I just think it's in bad taste. And I love Booker T. And I'm not necessarily defending Punk, but it's like, you don't want to put this out there. Like, you're throwing a dagger, and then running away. And it's like,
no, you are.
That's not
No,
fair
yes,
if it
you are.
really wasn't anything that big of a deal, because then there are people who don't like Punk or do think he's a bad guy in the company that are going to jump to the worst possible situation and think this is what he did, this is why he's trash, blah, blah, blah. And if that's not the case, then that's not fair. So,
agreed. I do agree with that. The Rock announced today or this week, I forget the day it is, this week, that he will be taking time off of WWE from May 1st to August 1st to hop on a Jungle Cruise to shoot Jungle Cruise 2. And why is this relevant for us to talk about? Well, it's because all the people talking about, is The Rock going to face Roman at SummerSlam or in Saudi? No, this is all building up to them going to face off at next year's Mania, and this is more clarification for that. He's going to take time off to do a movie. Obviously, this is how he's going to balance WWE, TKO, and Hollywood now. So he's taking time off to do this, and I mean, WrestleMania 41 is definitely going to be after August 1st, and Roman Reigns probably isn't going to be wrestling during that time anyways, so why does it matter? This is more for the people to say, shut up, and Cody Rhodes.
I think it also just, it shuts down all the people who were like, we wanted Rock versus Roman. Rock should have been the one to dethrone Roman. And it's like, okay, well, clearly, if that were the case, he was going to be around for 3 weeks and then lose the title. Like, that's really what you wanted? Because now this tells you, like, okay, if you are the person that's going to dethrone Roman Reigns, you cannot then drop the title 3 weeks later. Like, you can't, like, that devalues the title so much. So, to me, this just like proves even more that if The Rock was going to face Roman, he wasn't going to win. And that was the plan no matter what. But they had to pivot. So, I think plans did change maybe, but yeah, clearly what everybody was screaming about wasn't the case. So, this is just proving it further, I guess. Go Cody.
That's all it is. It's just go Cody. It's all it's proven that, like, it's all building to next year's Mania. Like, they got SummerSlam, they got all the events before Mania 41 in the bag with the talent they have. They do not need The Rock. The Rock just needs to be there right now for the Bloodline story. Okay? Let's keep that in mind. The Bloodline story. The Bloodline story does not end once Roman Reigns relinquishes the title. Okay, remember that. I feel like it's a lost thing that people forget about. But he's going to be at SmackDown tomorrow night, and Sara, we might get a Rock concert, which I friggin' hope so. Those are my favorite.
I liked the Rock concerts, but I think right now they just don't have a lot of material. Like, they just keep saying the same things about Cody or Seth. And so that's why I'm just kind of like, I'm not as into it, because it's like, okay, cool. You think Seth wears Becky's clothes. Okay, Cody sucks. And like, his family isn't that great. And your family's better. And Cody is a crybaby. Okay. And so then we're just going to hear The Rock sing about it instead. Like, I'm just not... I don't know. I'm not entertained by it. So, but more power to you for those who are.
And then the final bit of news to talk about. It's going around that after last night, it's the Meltzer and Alvarez and all them saying that, after Will Ospreay's shown so much charisma on the mic and whatnot, it's something that the WWE didn't see in signing him.
They're blaming Triple H.
They're probably they're blaming Triple H for, not seeing that and being like, oh, we can be fine without him, which, spoiler alert, they are. They didn't need Will Ospreay. AEW needs Will Ospreay. They need Okada, okay? That's the difference. And it comes down to money right now. That's it. It comes down to money.
But see, this is the thing. I think it's silly to blame Triple H and act like he's ignorant to like who's big around the world and who's not. This is the same dude who ran NXT and brought some of the top names from the indies into NXT during the Black and Gold era. So to act like he doesn't know who the hell Will Ospreay is or how impactful he would be in your company is bananas. Like, that is so dumb to say. Like, he has a proven track record. So the idea that he somehow just was like, oh, well, Ospreay is just another good wrestler. That's it. Like, no, that's I don't buy that for a second. But also the idea that they somehow were the reason, like the lack of money that they were going to give Ospreay is why he chose to go to AEW instead is also dumb, because we know that one of the key factors that Ospreay was considering was not having to live in America. So if signing with WWE basically meant that he probably had to live in America, and they somehow worked out an arrangement where that's not accurate, or that's not what he had to do by going to AEW, they were a little bit more lenient with it. Why wouldn't he choose that? Like, maybe he did chase the money. Maybe WWE didn't offer as much money, which I wouldn't be surprised, because Tony Khan is throwing a lot of cash at a lot of people, and that's not necessarily a recipe for success. But I also think that people are just kind of glossing over the fact that Ospreay had a decision to make and a choice to make, and he didn't just say F WWE because they didn't give up enough money. Like, I think that's crazy talk.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. They don't. It's not that they don't know about him. They have money that needs to be spent in other places. Okay.
If they didn't know about him, they wouldn't have pursued him. They wouldn't have pursued Okada. Like, come on.
And that's the thing. Like, they know Ospreay will eventually go to WWE, but to be honest, he needs to be in AEW right now. That's that. Like, Will Ospreay needs to go in AEW before he gets to WWE. And then that was all we have for the topics. Before we get into the 1, 2, 3 count, starting with number 1, as the WrestleMania Rewind is now at 18 on my TV. I saw 17, and Sarah, I just want to go through notes of mine, because you got to watch. You got to watch yours, and you'll give us your thoughts next week. While I'll get a new one from our peeps right now, while I give some notes. Let's hear from the peeps of which one I should watch next. I have no preference. You could throw anyone from 1 to 39. I don't care. Just throw it out there so I can actually watch it and do the notes that I did. Because honestly, Sarah, I thought these notes were pretty good. Okay, so... Oh, I thought I had more. Where's his hat? Oh, I had a picture of Perry Saturn's hat. Fuck that. What? Where'd it go? Whatever. So Bradshaw cut a promo before his match against the Right to Censor. That probably was one of his best promos I've ever heard him do. Talking about, the different events that happened at that stadium, at the Astrodome, and just like fired up Farouk, fired up Jackie. Like, you even fired me up just half asleep, being like, all right, where we going? Who we fighting? Like, I was ready to go after that. And I don't think I heard a promo like that cut by JBL at all. And then I had the thought of who turned the Godfather into the Good Father. That was stupid. I'm sorry. Like, that's just so dumb. And Right to Censor as a whole sucked. I hated Right to Censor.
It was a good idea on paper, given the fact that, like, of the era of the time that they were in, and they really were able to do almost anything in WWE. So, like, having people opposed to that, like, it makes sense. But I think, I think that they just didn't necessarily go about it in the right way all the time.
And then the Linda in a wheelchair.
Oh my God.
Because of in the shock, like, that was just weird.
Knowing what Vince was doing too, it makes
and I think here's the thing, Sarah. I think that now we know information that we didn't know at that time. It really kind of, not a lot of things give me the EBGBs in this world. That kind of was a little, and it with Trish Stratus wheeling her out. I was like, we are watching a man's fantasy be played out on television. Don't like that. Keep the fantasies in the bedroom, peeps. All right, that's what you're doing with your loved ones or friends of loved ones. I don't want to know, but if you do it, it makes you happy. I don't care. That's great for you. And then, to be honest, I love this match. I love Raven, Big Show, Kane. It's one of my favorite matches in the whole card. And And Raven attacking Kane before Big Show came out was a completely wild move. Absolutely loved it. And then the fact that like I think that their whole backstage, the way they did it, I had this connection that like that's what set up the backstage interactions and fighting for the future video games, like just bring it, shut your mouth, and all that. Like, because it felt very similar in that way. That was incredible, that match. God bless Jimmy Corderas for running around with them the entire time with the hardcore title, just counting every fall. That match is very underrated for a hardcore match. Yeah, criminally underrated, I said. And then Paul Heyman on commentary, I feel like it's lost. That was like a real treat. I love Paul Heyman on commentary, so I absolutely love that. And then Perry Saturn, like, dude, what are you wearing? Like, he had a fur top hat, a cutoff.
This
jeans.
is the same man who was in love with a mop. So do you really need to question
Talk about selling. And then Eddie Guerrero being the king of cheating to win. The Kurt Angle Benoit match was very good. I mean, TLC 2 doesn't even need words to be explained. That was incredible watching it back again. And then the main event, the last thing I'll say about it is that the My Way promo is the greatest promo like before a Mania match ever of all time.
Special.
No. And then just like the two, like
I can
it's
see
so
it
good
in
in
your
your
eyes.
eyes. It's so
Yes,
good.
yeah.
It's so good. I believe that we're gonna see something like that, very similar, happen with Cody and Roman, where whatever song is used for their promo is going to be like synonymous with that promo now, because they have that Austin Rock build-up feel. And it would be absolutely incredible. And yeah, David said the timing of that promo, like with Limp Bizkit, like at its peak. I mean, I fucking love Limp Bizkit. I just they have
you
one
ever
of my
thought
favorite
about their
entrances of all
name?
time. No,
Limp
I
Bizkit?
sometimes I don't try to think about that name, Sarah. It's yeah, I get the joke.
It
And
seems
then
like something The Rock came up with because he likes to talk about pastries. So
he does like to talk about pastries and genitals too. You've been dealing with free agency. All right. I've been kind of dealing with it with Patriot Peeps and like that show, but I'm more in wrestling. You've been all in on it, Sarah. And I had this thought pop in before we went live here. Like, what if we just had like when a player got signed to a new team, he just cut like a WWE style promo? Like, I just think that should be becoming the norm. Like, why not take to social media and just go off?
I think that would be especially good this year because of how many players jumped ship to a division rival.
Right?
Like
Weird.
That's a lot this year. So I feel like those would be banger promos because it's like they're not all necessarily like big time rivalries, but it's like they either have a history of being big rivals or it's just a divisional rival, so like you don't go to a team in the same division, so it's like that's always kind of taboo. But yeah, there are some big names that it's like, oh yeah, I'm leaving and I'm gonna go to another team, but it's like in the same division, and it's like, oh crap, like just to hear their side would be kind of funny.
Like, imagine if Derrick Henry just got on social and cut a promo about how the Cowboys didn't call him, and he was like, I wanted to play, I wanted to come to Jerry World, me and this person, we could have lit it up, but I never got that call. Like something like that would just been so entertaining, and it feels like that's the direction we're going into sports with how many players treat press conferences pretty much like WWE promos.
Or like Aaron Jones, like they literally cut him to bring in Josh Jacobs and he jumps to the Vikings. Like, get it, brother? Yes. Like to me, Calvin Ridley going from one AFC South to another AFC South, like that, it's just intense.
Like, and he could make a video about like how the Patriots, he was like, I would have loved to be part of your organization, history and all, but you didn't give me that money talk, like something like that, like to be like, I don't know, blur the lines. Like that's where sports going. Like,
also,
come on.
If you didn't know, they only offered him $1 million less. So
Are you fucking serious?
They had 22 mil on the table. He accepted 23 million with the Titans, but there's like no rich tax in Tennessee, so that's why.
Nathaniel, I don't want Tyler Lockett. All right, I don't want him. Like what? No, it's ridiculous. And 3 to wrap it up. I had a trivia question, Sarah. Okay, I had a really good one, but I forgot it. Okay. So I'm gonna try to think of one here while I read comments. Because here's the thing, guys. I asked for Manias to rewatch. You're giving me matches. I can just YouTube that in 20 minutes while I'm playing a game. Like I don't care. I can rewatch that easily.
Can I give you one?
Me? Absolutely.
How about WrestleMania 32?
Isn't that the fuck?
I don't know. I'm just picking a bad sounding number. So that's why
I'll do it. No, I will do it. I don't mind, but if it's the one I'm thinking of, then yeah. Oh, you suck. All right.
Sorry. I just picked an ugly sounding number, you know.
Well, it was an ugly one because do you know what the main event that year was?
No.
Triple H Roman for the WWE title.
Oh my
God.
God.
Roman lost in the Royal Rumble to Triple H. And it was the whole but there's other good matches.
A big dog.
Card. Yeah, when he was
This is my yard.
There's other matches that are good, so I'm not totally pissed off. Like if you said 9, I would have told you to pick another because I refuse to watch 9 again until we have to do it for more content purposes. But leisurely, no, I will not watch that leisurely again. Oh my God, there's a pre-show. Oh, that's when Lita presented the new women's title. So there's that sick triple threat match. Okay, Sasha, Charlotte, and was Becky in that? I think Becky was in that. That would make sense, right? That would make sense. Chris Jericho Styles, that was a good one. Do got Brock, Dean Ambrose. That match isn't the best. Yeah, it was Becky Lynch. Because of Brock. We do have that Hell in a Cell between Shane and Taker. Oh, we got The Rock came back and broke a record for shortest WrestleMania match. And then the main event. All right, I'm in. All right, we'll lock it in and watch it. I think that's what's going to take over trivia because, so here's the thing. We've been talking a long time. I truly forget that trivia question. And if I remember it, I'll just text you because I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
And we've been talking for a while here, and that's really all we got. All right. It's been a blast just talking about it here, talking about wrestling, finally getting back in the swing of things. And we thank you all for tuning in to this edition of the show. I'll be back on Saturday, for the SmackDown breakdown. So be on at 6 p.m. And then, it's St. Patty's Day weekend for any of my Massachusetts peeps. South Boston Day Parade. Let's go. I am so excited for it. That's why I'm trying to rest up now to get better, because it's my holiday, St. Patty's Day. So go and celebrate that as well with the local Irishman or woman, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know when we go live and to know what we're doing on the web. Go follow us on all our social media platforms down below. So that's all we got. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We'll see you Saturday. Yeah, I'm doing this.